Welcome in to another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the prior videos, questions, and comments and help you with your HUT lineup decisions. We've got another bunch of comments all lined up, so let's get right into the episode. Starting first with this 39-like banger from the name's Ev. There's no preparing for an event. That's at minimum going to cost you an entire paycheck. He is referring to the fantasy hockey event, and as you can see throughout these questions, I went through a lot of them. Many of them are how to prepare for the fantasy hockey event. He is correct. It is more than likely going to be very, very difficult given the current landscape of set fodder required to make master set player items. We've seen the cover athlete event go from about 30,000, 35,000 for an 82 overall cover athlete item, all the way up to 50,000 or 55,000 right now. Which means that you're looking at about 300 to 400K to make it a cover athlete card. Now, the problem with fantasy cards is to make the master set items, it usually, they bake in the fact that they can get to 99. So for anyone who doesn't know the fantasy event, when they score in real life, they go up +1 overall. And if it works the same as in prior years, and I hope that they don't mess with the fantasy event too much, then you're paying for a card with the potential to get to 99, so it'll probably be about double, about 600K in value. So the issue with that, or something I will say, is that normally EA will give you about half of what you need to make a fantasy hockey card, and then you should be able to buy or use stuff throughout the 2 weeks or however long to make the rest of it to make one. So even if you're no money spent, you're still going to have a shot to make this, even in the current landscape. But it is also running in tandem with another event, so we've got to take that into account as well. Hey, slaves, I was pretty... Actually, wait 1 second here. Let's go to... Make sure I sorted them right. Let's do that. There we go. I'm close to my first medium X Factor, like Nylander pack. Is Kucherov a bad pick? No, none of them are a bad pick, even Fox. I think that... The only thing I would say is that after testing a number of the best cards on forward, that at the end of the day, if you get to a high enough level of play, you're looking for point shots and things like that eventually. It's very hard to score with your forwards this year in comparison to your defensemen, and that's why I'm kind of going Heiskanen first. I have a feeling that all of the best master set player items from a feel standpoint or a performance standpoint are all going to be defensemen early on until they nerf D to D one-timers, which I'm sure that they will do at some point. They will bring it down a little bit, as they should. But no, I that's why I'm personally going Heiskanen, but Kucherov and Nylander are both fantastic, man. Jeremy says, have you tried the 84 Antropov? He's been a blast and a steal for the price I got him. Not many players that can knock him off the puck. He's been an assist machine. I added him and Ovechkin to my top line. I'm a little weak at center position as Brind'Amour and Claude Giroux and Hischier are my top 3. Any center recommendations? I have about 150,000 coins left after buying Dobson and Antropov, debating on just saving coins and holding steady for now. What do you think? In my opinion, the 3 that you have, like Brind'Amour, in my opinion, has been one of the best cards I've used all year. And Giroux is kind of sneaky good too. If you're not performing well with them, then you might just perform well with the big guys that are a lot slower. So in that case, you know what? Look at the base icon Lindros, because everyone's not realizing that card is almost the exact same as his cover athlete card. If I already have McDavid, Makar, McKinnon, who should I get next? In terms of big base cards, I would look for... like Pasternak, his card is real good. Not a general question, not a question, more of a statement. I tested the doing objectives, Deeks, goals, hits, for X factors and icons within moments they do not track. I'm not sure if EA quietly patched this or what, but as soon as I saw it come up as a tip in this video, I tested it. Unfortunately, no dice. Make sure it says in any mode. I can't remember off the top of my head if those ones specifically. It needs to say, if you're going to do an objective in moments, like we talked about in the last video, it has to say in any mode. It specifically state that. If it says rival squad battles champs or whatever, or wild card, then it won't be able to be done in moments. Would you suggest holding on to cards from sets that expire with the hope they climb in value when the event ends? Example, hold on to Game Breaker cards since event collectibles soon expires soon and sell later for more coins. So, like I mentioned, if the overalls are going to stay in check, so let's say you had McAvoy. Okay, I think McAvoy is one of the better cards in the game. And I think that when you can no longer make him, then obviously then his price should probably go up because there isn't any more. That being said, from what it looks like is that the sets will be removed. I'm wondering if the sets just come right back with the new Game Breaker cards and all of those cards are in the pool again. Because remember, when the second drop of Game Breaker cards came out, you could pull any of the first or second one. So we have to wait and see if that's the case. Much love from Montreal. My question is, what should I do in your opinion? I did my first and only cover athlete card to go with Forsberg since I already had base Makar and I felt like Forsberg would be a top center for a while. No regrets there, but since the event is about to expire, I'm wondering if I should sell my base Makar and make his cover athletes card with coins only. So 50K times 60, essentially. What do you think? Or times 6, what do you think? So you're looking at about 200,000 coins to get his cover athlete card. Oh. If you sell your base Makar, you should get quite a bit. I think I would. Base Makar, cover athlete Makar is just so good, man. Great content as always. Two-part question. Pre-fantasy draft. Do you think if we go get one of the lower team builder cards back as B and D as we trade them up, it'll make them more viable for no money spent? Example, trade in two 86s for an 89 and a B and D 86 back. Would that save team builders as when you get up to the 95s, it will help lessen the cost? Yeah, that would help. The only thing that's going to help team builders is if they remove the 77 and above cap and they just make it any player from that team. They do that, and it's like you could use bronze or silver cards that are on the teams. Then we're laughing. Should we save our 77 plus NHL for team builders or use them in power up icons or X Factor sets? In my opinion, in the current landscape of how the game is being done, I am using 70. I'm using anything. I'm focusing on X Factors, but I don't blame anyone for doing holograms. You have to make that choice. It's very similar value. It's just 75s are a little bit more viable, easier to come by than 76s. So I chose to go after McDavid first. Anything 75 to 78 overall. I don't care if they're NHL player items or what. They're going into the X Factor set. Bonus. Which left-handed power-up icon D-man are you most interested? Or Niedermeyer or Lidstrom? I think it's Or with free goal wheels. Like, again, we've seen you just fly down the wings, you know? I know some people wait to open their packs for better cards to be released in hopes of pulling them. Should I do that too? It's boring, in my opinion. This is what's ruined those events for me, is that like everyone just kind of knows the fantasy event, team of the year, and team of the season are coming. So everyone just kind of hoards everything. We don't know how those events are going to work this year. If you are really, really wanting to try and get as much out of the fantasy event as possible, then yes, you should be holding everything because we don't know how it's going to work. Hey, slaves, I'm getting close to my first Captain X Factor. I was wondering what one is the best or which one I should make. Love the content. Like I said Heiskanen because he looks to be one of the best statted defensemen currently in the game, and every time that a defenseman shoots, it goes in. So they're just more impactful in forwards right now. Bonjour from Quebec, slaves. My question is this. For the cover athletes event, specific 82s are required. Could this be the new way of doing things all year round? And the captain cards would lose almost all their value. Merci. Wait, could this be the way of doing things all year round and the captain cards would lose? Why would the captain cards lose their value? If you reply in this next one, I'll find your comment, Turking. I don't know why captain cards would lose their value in this scenario. Sorry. If anyone is looking for budget players to do well, I play only offline, so it might be different, but 79 overall Druin has done really well for me. My third line and 80 overall Larry Robinson both put up points. There's a lot of lower, like, if you look at base icon, like Patrick Marleau, for example, there's a lot of base icons that are kind of sneaky good. Hey, slaves, I know you sort of nudged me towards Heiskin in another video, but I keep hearing a voice in my head saying use your favorite player, so I'm sticking with Kucherov. I've got the usual suspect like base Makar, Sakic, McDavid, and now cover athlete Stamkos, plus some really solid depth. My question is, what are the best couple of golds you'd recommend buying to just try out? I remember you mentioning Nylander and a few others. Thanks anyways. Well, like, they're all so dumb expensive now. That's the issue. Like, Pasternak and McKinnon, base cards are now valued the same as like, master set player items because that's just really where we're at. Like I think Jordan Kyrou would be one. The game breaker card would be one I would look at. Hey Slaves, a big fan of the channel and this community. I was wondering if you could do a ranking of some of the abilities this year, including goalies. I've definitely noticed some of the abilities that were crazy good in previous seasons aren't quite as impactful this year, like make it snappy. Thanks for the great content. You got to be my favorite Canadian behind Keanu Reeves. Um, Elite Edges is pretty foolproof. I've noticed edges really well. I don't notice make it snappy this year. I will say this. I think that truculence is going to be more important than ever on defensemen or forwards because it is just so hard to knock someone off the puck this year. Um, you know, I think that that's really, really going to impact the game, but no one has truculence. I'm wondering if they're saving truculence for the spooky event and like all these big guys will get truculence. But other than edges, dude, like shutdown, I still notice a little bit. And 1T, like 1T isn't necessary, but like that one's obvious, right? I pulled the tradable Steven Stamkos cover athlete. Nice. And was planning on making him in sets. I already have enough 82s to make him. Should I sell him and still make him or keep him and make a different one? If you don't have Makar, if you already have cover athlete Makar, then I would sell Stamkos and make him for free. If you don't have Makar, use your 82s for Makar. I have a reason for is why Pronger and other defense feel faster. Attributes matter more than ever, and endurance on defense is typically a good amount higher than forwards, meaning they don't lose speed as fast. A full stamina 82 guy is faster than an empty stamina 90 guy. That I can agree with. Yep. I think that I still notice it though, even when like they're half. But I do think that endurance definitely plays into a factor here. Piggybacking on the guy said he lost one of his cards. My Caden Gooley guy card just disappeared, and I'm 100% sure I picked him on your advice, and he's nowhere to be found. Any ideas? So, guys, go through sets and just make sure you don't have someone sitting in one of your sets. But if you have lost someone, like straight up by accident or whatever, you can message EA Play, or sorry, EA Help, Google EA Help, and they can track and see what happened to your cards. They might give it back to you, they might not. So, just a heads up on that. Hey, Slaves, I have 3 untradeable 82 cover athletes. I've gotten Makar and Stamkos from the event. Should I make another one with fodder or coins or keep those extras for later? I would not go out and spend coins on any cards other than Makar from this event. So if you've got those two, I would just sit and chill. Spending any more coins on this event, you're probably going to regret it at some point after Makar. Do you know if the fantasy cards endurance will be as low as last year? And if so, will it go up with the overall? Last year, they were particularly unusable at the end of the game because of it. I assume that they're going to address that. My fear for the fantasy event is that everyone's going to start at 70 overall, right? Like the overalls are so low this year. I would be blown away if any of the fantasy cards start at 80, even the master set players. So just, I doubt it. I hope they chose Dylan Gunther. That's what I'll say. Slaves, with the sheer lack of NHL 77s and packs and so forth, would it make more sense to put the NHL 77s and 79s in a power-up icon and X Factor set for trade-in, since it seems like going for team builders is getting next to impossible for free-to-play players, which I am. I'm working towards my first X Factor captain, which I'm still up in the air on who to go with. I can pass along my lineup in a reply. And my next power-up icon will be Brindamore. I already have Gonchar and Hull. With the current vintage modern power icons and Captain X Factors continuing to be upgradable past 83 overall, or is it going to be just to be the charged X Factor? So no, power up icons and Captain X Factors will work like in years past, where if a new card comes out, it'll unlock that tier. I believe that will be the questions before I figure out. I would not do 79s. The reason why I wouldn't do 79s is because that seems to be the barrier of entry for events. So you needed 79 overall players to make event cards, and you just want to make sure, because in case an event card comes out that you really like, you want to be able to make it. So I do 75 to 78s for my X Factors. And if I was doing power icons, I would do the same thing, 76 to 78s, regardless if they're NHL players or not. Team builders, again, I'm out on until they address the cost there. So I asked this on Reddit, but I figured I wanted to ask here as well. Should I be hanging on to my packs in hopes of getting lucky on Friday, or just open them now and make collectibles this weekend? I'm probably going to drop my pre-order points on Friday for this event as well. Thanks for all the work you put into these videos throughout the year. It really helps. Like I said, guys, if you are just dead set on trying to get prepared for the Fantasy Hockey event, you just need to save everything, which sucks because it means you're not fully playing the game. But that is the reality situation. I think a lot of people that still have their points are going to spend all of their points on Friday on the Fantasy Hockey event. So we could see a little bit of a market dip finally, but it'll go right back up. It'll drop very quickly. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I would just save everything if you really wanted to. My question is, are there captain X factors going up in overalls? I mean, Kucherov. Yes. So when Kucherov gets a game breaker card or a team of the wallet card, Kucherov will unlock a new tier, and you'll need X Factor tokens to upgrade him. Hey, Sleeves, huge fan. Huge Leafs fan here. And my goals for my team are getting the captain Nylander and Icon Sundin. Was wondering if it's worth my time. I've already got 6 X Factor and 8 Icons. I have no money spent. I want to know if it's worth it. Hell yeah, it's worth it, bro. Those are your 2 favorite players. Go get them, dude. Hell yeah. Thanks for answering my autofill question about Forsberg and Kemper. Both players are gone, not in sets and collections, not even on the bench. Both are gone. So yeah, you need to message EA help, and do one of the chats and just explain what's going on and have your account information and see if they can assist you getting your cards back. There's no guarantee they will, guys. I just want to be sure I explain that, but it's your only chance. They do double XP for World of Shell? They should def do it for Hut. I agree. I think they fear people getting Eichel already and just rushing out because there's a lot of people that are just crazy in that aspect. So, how do you think fantasy cards will impact the game? And do you think no money spent people are going to get a fantasy pack? How do you think fantasy cards will impact the game? And do you think no money spent people are going to get a fantasy pack? I don't think we'll get a fantasy pack unless it's one of those ones like they did a couple years ago where it was like 6 very low overall, very like Kalen Addison for anyone that remembers. I think they'll give us enough to get half. And I think that the fantasy cards will be what everyone spends all of their coins on. So you're going to see millions of coins being in the market for those cards specifically. I think you could see a reduction in the base cards that are very high. So McDavid, McKinnon, whatever, because people that spend money in the game will sell those pulls so they can go and get fantasy cards. But that's again, that's a guess, but we'll see. Hey, Slaves, I was pretty set on doing power-up icons for no particular reason. I just kind of went with it. However, now that you're giving it all these free X Factors, I feel like it might be easier to go with X Factors now. I have 6 out of 8 base X Factors, 4 out of 12 modern power-up icons. Should I shift my focus to X Factors? No, because if I were to hazard a guess, I think that the next few weeks they're going to focus on giving out free power-up icons as opposed to X Factors. I would just make sure you do all of the stuff to get free X Factors, but don't worry about spending any extra stuff. Got an even nastier tip for completing the goals, assists, etc. with a player item that is on any mode. So this is, again, guys, in the objectives, it has to say any mode. Go to the first weekly moment that is on rookie, and the team is all 50s in overall. Super easy to score, and you can use any cards you want without line changes. Again, so if you have a moment, or if you have objectives that you, like score with a certain type of card, you can load your first line, go into that moment, and they don't get tired. They don't change lines in those moments. That's why it's better than squad battles. No, you don't get XP, but Jesus, like 1,000 XP over being able to get your objectives done very quickly is so much more worth it. All right, hey, Slaves, wanted to talk about this year's gameplay. I think it's the best we've had in a while due to us being able to use all of the defensive mechanics in one game. Usually we cannot stick lift, or if that works, we can't hit, poke, etc. But this year, it's nice to have it all tied together. However, I'm noticing more and more forces going in on plays that it used to not happen on. I know you continue to contribute to the defensive awareness, but my 91 defensive awareness McAvoy cannot intercept open ones. No one can. That is not the full basis of my question, though. My question is based on luck in gameplay. Do you feel it's more luck-based than ever? I find goalies let in muffins or stop 90% of the pucks, and then they let it flutter in. Pokes go right through, go right back to the opposing player, or if my line mate is not directly, if it is not directly them. I will find I will poke it off my opponent 4 times with them still getting possession back, followed by a squeaker that dribbles in. I'm in D2 every year, and D1 if I grind hard enough. Just feels like this year it is not rewarding as it should be. I have lots of luck-based goals, by the way, too. It's not just a one-way street. Just should be more skill-based, in my opinion. A hot question as well. I'm not sure if you've ever noticed, if you noticed last year, but to get a moment primetime card, a player had to record a 3-point game, whether it was a forward or defense. However, McAvoy got a game breaker card with 2 points this year already. Hopefully, this keeps up and we see more game breakers from players who do not have the opportunity to put 3 points often. Thanks for all you do, man. Been a sub for years now on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you for the good content. Appreciate that, dude. Okay, so let's touch on this. Yeah, defensive awareness is important, but it's not going to be the end all be all when it comes to stopping forces. The player positioning. So if you back all the way into your goalie and they fire it through the middle, right through the goal line, like you're more than likely not going to stop it because like you're not really set in position. You need to make sure your player is positioned where they're looking at the player passing the puck. Or with their not with their back to the net when defending a 2-on-1 kind of thing. The other way is to just dive. Like this is, I will literally now in a 2-on-1 just dive into my net to block a one-timer or a forced cross crease. The other thing he said about how when you poke the puck off of someone's stick and they get it right back, that's tied to offensive awareness. So just as everyone's teams get better, defensive awareness improves, or defensive awareness doesn't improve, but passing rating does and all of that. When players' offensive awareness rating goes way up, they get loose pucks more. So when you poke someone free and you're not in like a super prime position to get in between them and the puck, they'll get it right back because their offensive awareness is high. Early on in the year, it was working well because no one had any good offensive awareness. In terms of the luck, man, do I think they code something in where it's like, this is luck? I mean, to be honest, it sounds terrible, but like hockey has so much luck based into it. It wouldn't stun me if there's something in the game that has that. I have no confirmation of that, and I don't want to believe there is. But there's times where you just know that a goal's going in, regardless of what's going on, and that, would be because of like luck and like it being coded. So I don't know. A tinfoil hat stuff though. Do you think the fantasy event will use trading in collectibles or trading in non-MSP fantasy cards to acquire the MSP? I think we're done with collectibles. Outside of... Oh, no, I guess we're not because of the fucking... I think for events, we're done with collectibles. Just slightly off choosing players, but I'm not sure how I feel about Superstar Squad Battles giving the highest return for XP. I love playing against players online, but the guaranteed XP has made it so I find myself playing Squad Battles as I can always hit the max. I feel like rivals should always reward you for the highest XP, as I'm in Div 2, and I should receive more for being a computer that's easy to win against than one you know. Appreciate the videos and as well. Here's the thing, man. If you want to go and beat your brains off, against the CPU for hours on end because you want to get further ahead in the XP path, understand this. The guy that got Eichel, okay, Ratsy, shout out. There's a few others now that have. They have really not gained that much more of an advantage over you. First of all, there's going to be so few people that have Eichel early, and even in the next couple weeks, that they're not. The XP path is so unrewarding that I don't know why anyone is grinding it. You will earn over half of the XP for the entire path from just waiting for the weekly objectives. Guys, when I say just play how you want to play, you're just trapped in FOMO. Like, you are literally just trapped in the, oh my God, there's something I can earn by putting in an ungodly amount of time. I need this card. You don't, man. Like, I promise you, that Eichel is probably the best card in the game right now. 100%. But is it worth you not enjoying yourself when playing a video game? Like, you already go to work, or you are already in college doing work. Why do you want to then come home and go to work? And again, anyone that wants to do that, I can appreciate. That's what you want to do with your free time. That's what you want to do with your free time. We are stuck in this FOMO thing because the whole video game industry is like this. All right? We see other people do it. They're like, oh man, I got to get this thing. Dude, the XP path is ass. Don't. I just play Rivals, man. I'm on tier 20 and I could care less. And it's like my thing to like play the game, right? So don't play Squad Battles if you don't like it. Do not. Play Rivals. Work towards the objectives. You can do all the objectives to earn XP in Rivals, I promise you, and you will get Eichel by the end of the season. And I can guarantee this, fellas, one card is not going to move you up in a division and make you the best player in the world. Just like goaltenders won't. So That's what I have to say on there. End rant. Thank you guys again for watching this episode of Who Should You Choose? Again, make sure you subscribe, notifications on to get your question answered in the next video. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.